Hello guys, my name is Tatonga and I'm an international student in Italy, and in my free time, when I have a little more time to spare for myself, I like to read books, and this time I just caught off this book named Concise Laws of Human Nature by Robert Greene. That's been so hyped for the years, and for today we are going to start our discussions by the law of defensiveness. And I think for today's video it would be so fun because these laws are not expected by me, because they were so interesting and they were unknown to maybe most of us. So let's start. The life is harsh and everybody is so competitive, and they all want the superiority, and they all want the authority and high status, and it's more likely that they have the same likeness and satisfaction as humans. So in this bustling society, we have to know a little more things to make and direct the things to our sides. For example, people, when they are trying to talk to other people, they of course have a lot of walls, imaginary walls around herself, and they are in a defensive state, and they tend to say the strong opinions about themselves and something like so defensive and not natural. But when that is happening around you, you mustn't be so criticizing, and you mustn't judge their opinions, because that will make them worse. Imagine you ask for something after criticizing and after arguing with somebody. Yeah. And just try to listen to them, and after they just believe in you and they feel comfortable around you, they will be more themselves around you and concealing and taking off their walls, and maybe after that they will be more susceptible to follow your opinion, and the conversation would be more effective. And people always say that I like being so direct with people. I am so honest person, and I think the bouncy conversations are kind of manipulative and so ugly, and people have this misconception. But in fact, in reality, people are not like that. The things doesn't really happen, because people like something indirect things, like they want extra words, they want extra praises, flattery, and but while you in order to make everything align into your goal or purpose, you can just be bossy. You can also use these indirect strategies. Okay, first of this, the main strategies is that you have to be a deep listener and pay attention to nonverbal cues in body languages, because people like to talk about the several and a lot of topics, but there are some topic that intrigues them most. They have their eyes laid, and they might be comfortable and confident in discussing certain topics, and so pick up those topics. Okay, and then maintain eye contact. And also, have you ever heard that doing this gesture makes them feel more warm when in the group setting? Yeah, also that works. And also, next is that be positive positive as possible. Like be more relaxed and indulgent and accepting everybody as they are. And also, as the many studies have shown, the non-verbal cues have demonstrated the incredible powers. Like also, just tapping on one's hand or one's like shoulder a little also gives a lot of warmth to another, like the person feeling it, but do not exaggerate it. Be careful. Yeah. And if there is a person of whom you will eventually ask a favor, try imagining him or her in a saintly like status. Like imagine they are like so generous, imagine they are like so best individual in the world. So to keep up that belief, they try to give you more. It sounds so manipulative, but like try to understand this. It's so simple and it happens in like normal conversation a lot. Yeah, we must keep up with this society. So, and next is that confirm their self opinions. And in the self opinions, they might like take into account the three factors. Like one is autonomy, and then intelligence, and then goodness. For the autonomy, like you have to just understand and listen to the people, because everyone tries to influence others. Like everyone likes it. But do you like to be influenced by other people? It's so hard to answer. Do not try to control and do not try to affect everyone. And also there is interesting thing that a small gift effect. When you're trying to give the gift or the reward to somebody, please try to make it small as possible, because when you're giving like bigger gifts, it just gives them the impression like it is trying to manipulate you. There is some suspicion behind it. It's not recommended here. And about the intelligence, there is the like wise man's word. If you wish to win the man's heart, allow him to disprove you. And you have to like disagree with them first a little for the unimportant stuff, and then they just feel the comfort around you, like they feel the superiority after this, and then maybe you can ask something, maybe you can just tell your opinion for the important stuff, and he might also support you. Yeah. And about the goodness, just make everybody be so saintly, be so kind, and be so generous, and remind them what they have done to them, and that turned out to be so good. After that, they will feel obligated to do something for you. And the next strategy is ally their insecurities. For example, not everyone is good at some certain things, and so when they are trying, like when they're just making a lot of effort to learn something, you can praise them. They will take it so good, but it works for only those individuals who has more like high self-opinion. But about the low self-opinion, they will just think you are so plaguing and think you are so untrue person. And the next strategy is that use people's resistance and stubbornness. Okay, people are stubborn because they have their own points in their life, and when it's just too much, you can just convert it to the reverse city. Like if you want certain point, you ask something opposite of that from that stubborn person, and then he or she will do it. After all, like, to prevent emotional and manipulations, because we now know these strategies, right? So we have to also know about how to prevent from the manipulations. We have to realize that you're not as good as the idealized image of your own agenda. You don't need really the others' validation, and nobody thinks so much of you more than you yourself. And that's why be true to yourself, like be real to yourself, so that you can be like untouchable. Okay, let's move on to the next chapter, which is about the law of self-sabotage. We sabotage our career and relationships by unconsciously creating the circumstances we fear the most. And by making ourselves positive, open, and tolerant, we can spark a different dynamic in ourselves, and from here we will tend to pay more attention to our attitudes, because attitude is just like the lens of the camera. It's lens of our lives, and if we have negative attitude, it's like the narrow lens. You cannot have the peripheral view of your surroundings, and it will be so boring. So let's discuss about it. And attitude is like this, and you can get through anything with persistence. Okay, you can see a lot from the reaction of the people. Maybe that just defines somebody's attitude, and when they fail some certain things, the reactions are different, right? And so just understand that the mistakes are there for yourself, for your experiences, and for your next success. And it's so powerful word. Like, you can get through anything with persistence and hard work. And like here it says the 5 negative attitudes about the person, about people. First one is the kind of, I think I cannot say their titles at least, and they're about, they are the victim of the world. They are disliked by everyone. The people are against themselves, and they are just the least favorite person of the world. It's just their imagination. Like, they sabotage themselves by these thoughts, and after all, they accuse everyone, like anyone, for today's like bad happening, and it's not their fault, because it's just happening because the world doesn't like them. It's not true. So if you're dealing with such type, struggle as best you can to not respond with the antagonism they expect, and maintain your neutrality. And the second type is that the people who just like to dominate the group, like they disguise their need to control by law and concern, and they disguise their sickness to please and pursue people by the disarming the unfriendly action of others. They just like to dominate everything because of their like perfectionist mindset, and feeling with like such type try to not feel infected by their like negativity and provide a soothing influence. And the third type is that the people who are insecure and they avoid responsibility. They avoid everything. And it's just all because their doubt about their competence and their intelligence. They doubt it. And they do not try too hard in life, and so they cannot fail or be criticized. In order not to be criticized or in order not to be the center of other people's gossip, they just stop trying. They avoid the problem, they avoid the responsibility. And that's so bad, but unfortunately, I see of this in a lot of people, and let's change it. And they have built in the excuse, they have built excuses for all those like avoidance. And in order to like recover this kind of negativity, we can just succeed and achieve for the little things, and we can build our self-esteem tower. Yes. And the fourth type is that the depressive people, I'm sorry, they didn't feel loved from the young age, and as adults they anticipate abandonment, loss, and sadness. They just unconsciously calls for those bad feelings for themselves, because the world is what they just vibrate, right? And they vibrate such negative in like energy and negative traits, so they are receiving so less of the world that they can potentially get the most. Yeah. And they don't feel they deserve it when they achieved. It's so crazy. Like when they are after some big things, they do not accept the reward. And when it's your tendency, try to channel your energies into more like works and also art that can just express your depression and your negativity within you. But I cannot say it's so negativity, but with this your life is getting more boring and more, it's just still in your time of happiness. And when you are dealing with such type, try to like bring them to the positive experiences. And also fifth type is that the resentful attitude. Greedy, they are greedy for attention, and they are so vicious and they are vengeful. They accumulate a lot of resentment in their head, and then they take it as a vengeance, and it's so vicious type. Just if you notice it in your surrounding, just try to go from that area. In general, they carry themselves with an air of arrogance. They are above others, even if no one recognizes it. And if you are like this type, learn to let go of the hurts and disappointments in life. Become more generous towards people. Try to understand people and be generous so it can help you. And there are 5 positive attitudes. That is, see yourself as an explorer. You are exploring the world and you're here like being human for the first time as others, and there are a lot to discover, and our life is too short to discover everything on the world. And yeah, and the second positive attitude is that embrace all obstacles as learning experiment. Just growth mindset, and you can grow after just failure. You can just change your response to this like obstacles, like, but it's so hard, I understand, because for the one time I failed from a test, like oral test, and I was like, I didn't know how to react to that sudden moment, and then I I cried, and then I felt a little bit like bad and guilty for myself, and then I started learning. I started making improvements for the topics that I lost, and so weird feeling. And the fourth one is that push yourself beyond what you think you are physical limits. You are able to do anything if there is persistence, and if you are also having positive attitudes like this. Yeah, and the fifth one is don't react other people's unpleasant feelings directed at you. Like, as humans, you might encounter a lot of displeasant things about yourself, but do not react to them so much. Just think they are projecting their negativity, their own negativity. It's nothing to do with you. It's just their problem. Period. And be open and generous in the social interactions. Okay, let's move on to the last law, that is the law of repression. And here, our whole being is nothing but a fight against the dark forces within ourselves. Okay, sometimes you can sleep at 9 p.m. in the evening, but some vicious thing, like the demon inside ourselves, please go outside, please do something else, please eat ice cream, please eat food that late, and please watch a movie in Netflix and clubbing and something like that. That is actually your shadow that pulls you back from your normal life, and it lies in everybody's body. And how can we see those as that? Okay, I will tell you. And the shadow consists of all try to deny about themselves and repress. They repress it because the society has the certain standards, right? Ethics things. So to keep up with that, we repress our bad behaviors, bad thoughts, and we just hold back a lot of emotions to be present in the society. And shadow lies buried deep within, but it becomes disturbed and active in moments of stress or when deep wounds and insecurities are triggered. Like, there are triggers. They are always triggers. Just pay attention to them also. And also the case is that when you're getting older, you are pulling out a lot of masks from yourself to keep up with the society. You're your true self, and that time your shadow might pervade you. Yeah, and okay, there are also the ways. Okay, there are also the ways how people with shadow can be exposed. The shadow can be exposed within people, and that is like the strange contradictory behavior is a direct expression of shadow. Okay, they believe something so bad, but actually within themselves they are that person. It's so crazy, like mind-blowing notion. And next is that when they lose their self-control and express deep resentments, when they outburst, it can be shown in other people might hear a lot of bad words, and so dark things when people are outbursting. And the next is they are against the type they express. Yes, maybe they say I am opposite of, like, I don't support the brides, but they might support brides because maybe they really mean that, but sometimes it's so interviewing and they are not likely to be against that. It's just the society that made them think like that. And also, they fall into the behavior they spoke of trying to avoid. Okay, they might say, I'm trying to avoid smoking, I'm trying to avoid like using alcohols and like screen times, and but they're actually doing it. And also there's like the moral idealism as a mask for the shadow self. First, okay, where strong convictions are unconsciously used to justify the release of repressed negative traits. Okay, for example, you say, okay, right, people mustn't like betray their friends. They might say that. But maybe their thought is different. Yeah, we mustn't be so suspicious about our friends and other people's opinions, but it really is on the true world. And also another thing is we vent our repressed desire in the form of judgment and justify our own authorization response. It's just like this. Okay, there's certain group of people, like girls, like dressing up and being their best selves, but here the another group it might say, oh my god, they are doing this, they in order to be pretty they don't even have to do this, huh? But in the deep behind themselves they want to be like them. Yes. And remember, behind any vehement hatred is often a secret and very unpalatable enemy of the hated person or people. And okay, after this, there you must be extra wary of these 7 types of that has the most common empathic traits. Like you must be away from it. Yeah, first is tough guy. They were so bad in the beginning and they feel like holding back a lot of things and a lot of bad qualities of themselves. But when something triggers their anger, when something triggers their shadow, it might be so dangerous. Yeah. No matter how the lion is trained so friendly, they are wild deep inside. So it's like tough guy. And second, the saint. They just disguise their hunger for the attention and power by their saintly self. It's all masks and it's all the performance, and if they have that enough power, I think things gonna be so different and the shadow might prevail that his or her destiny. And when you're dealing with such type, don't be naive and do not follow them. And third, like passive aggressive people, they might be too nice in the beginning, but after some period they might betray you or they might gossip behind you. And shadow is speaking and that you will be the target of such gossip one day. Yeah. And fourth type is the fanatic. Okay, they promise you something, but when they're able to deliver the things they promised, they just stop, becomes indecisive at the wrong moment, and the deeper the insecurities and deeper they have insecurities and they doubts of their capacity. It's so hurtful. And fifth, the rigid rationalist. They tend to argue because they have hidden emotional needs to bully. Okay, they are rationalists. They want something extra for the imperfect things, the jobs, but they might add a lot of their emotional need to control and bully people. There is something subjective things happening, and that's so bad person. The people must avoid. And the sixth, the snob. They have a tremendous need to be different from others, but to look different, they just brag and they try to change their appearance, and they just do this. But when you are dealing with such type, they're judge the people by their appearance. It's a big deal. And seventh type is the extreme entrepreneur. They're so rational, they're so perfectionist, and when they lose control, when they are in the chaos and the failure, they are so upset, and they just unconsciously need someone to pamper them. And you can notice that if they are doing a lot of such things, they're doing a lot of jobs, but if they are not taking care of their health and doing their basic consumption, it means that they are also bad individual. And okay, so after all, we have to be aware of our shadow. It can be anyone that can be overloaded by the shadow. And so look at your own emotional outbursts and moments of extreme touchiness, and pay attention to your feelings. And look at the moments in your youth, maybe in your youth, maybe in your teens, you might seem so expressive and kind of difficult children, and that type can tell you a lot about yourself, your shadow. And pay attention that you have become more like other people as you grow. Yeah, and you must discover your lost authentic parts of yourself. And also, it's better to have a habit to write about your dreams and your emotions and your reactions, and also be aware of and accept your shadow as it is, and try to integrate it. Okay, if you just unconsciously feel like watching Netflix, you just understand it, and then maybe you choose the better options by thinking rational. And then when you are free or having unstructured time, realize what is coming to your mind. That is also the shadow trying to speak to you. And also flee your shadow under control. erase from other people's thoughts. And okay, everybody mustn't be the same, right? Under the same social boundary and standards. So we have to distinguish ourselves. We have to stand out because we are different people. And maybe shadow can help us be different, but in a good way. But you have to keep it under control. And yeah, and don't be afraid of other people's thoughts so much, unless you're harming their right, maybe. And sometimes you must offend and even hurt people who block your path and who have ugly values and who unjustly criticize you. So to deal with all those like society things, we have to know about such strategies and such like perceptions to look at other people's opinions and attitudes. So I hope it was so interesting to you all. Thank you so much for watching my video, and if you really liked it, please don't forget to type on like and subscribe. Bye!